Number 5. This is one of those moments that feels like something right out of a nightmare. Recently, TikTok user Eloy posted footage that starts off like any casual car ride, but quickly turns into something far more disturbing. It's a typical night. Eloy and his girlfriend are out driving. Just two people enjoying the open road, or so it seemed. But what he captured next would send a shiver down anyone's spine. Out of nowhere, Eloy snaps a picture of his girlfriend in the passenger seat. Maybe just a quick, playful shot. But when he takes a look, something feels wrong, really wrong. In the seat behind her, barely visible in the darkness, there's a strange figure. A shadowy shape with hollow, sunken eyes that seem to stare straight through the screen. It's not human, not even close. At first, Eloy tries to brush it off as some strange shadow or maybe a trick of the light, but his heart races. Something about this image feels too real, too sinister, and as if things couldn't get more disturbing, the comments start rolling in, fueling the fear. People are convinced that what they're seeing is more than just a shadow. Some suggest it's a demon sitting in the back seat, a dark entity just waiting for the right moment. Others claim it's a guardian demon, a sinister presence that only appears to warn of danger. Then, just when Eloy thought it was over, things take a terrifying twist. Not long after the photo was taken, the couple is involved in a strange accident, a crash that leaves their car completely totaled. Luckily, they walk away unharmed, but the timing is hard to ignore. Was this dark figure in the back seat some kind of omen? A sinister spirit foreshadowing what was about to happen? Eloy looks back at the photo, and suddenly, every creepy theory starts to feel all too real. He can't shake the feeling that they weren't alone in the car that night, that something dark and malevolent had been sitting right there, lurking just inches away from them. And now, the picture lives on in his TikTok, haunting everyone who dares to watch. Some say it's just a trick of the eye. Others aren't so sure. But one thing is certain. Once you see that face in the back seat, you'll never forget it. What do you think? Just a strange coincidence? Or something far more sinister? Number 4. Imagine it's late, and you're working alone. The clock reads 11:30 p.m., and it's just you in a quiet, dimly lit smoke shop in the middle of central Alabama. Jocelyn, a worker at the shop, was used to the late-night shifts, but this one was very different. As she's restocking shelves, a faint sound echoes from the back of the store. Just a small noise, but enough to make her freeze in her tracks. She calls out, but there's only silence in return. You'd think she'd just shrug it off, right? But there was something strange about that sound. Something off. With her heart racing, she picks up her phone and starts recording, speaking quietly as she says, "I'm working by myself, and I hear a noise in the back." Her voice is calm, but you can hear the edge of fear in it. Slowly, Jocelyn inches closer to the storage area, her hand trembling as she holds the camera. Suddenly, there's movement. A faint, unexplainable shift in the shadows, just enough to let her know she isn't alone. Whatever is moving back there, it's hidden in the darkness, watching her. She finally posts the video, hoping maybe someone can explain the strange things she saw and heard that night. But the online response only makes things worse. Viewers are alarmed, urging her to check the security footage, convinced she's stumbled onto something unearthly. And so, she does. The music deepens, almost to a whisper, but when she plays it back, there's nothing. Nothing on camera at all. It's like whatever was there had erased its own presence. But this isn't the end of the story. Fast forward to 4 a.m. when the store is closed, empty and pitch black. The camera still records in the silence of the night. That's when things take a terrifying turn. Without warning, a ladder crashes to the ground, a harsh sound breaking the silence. And as if that wasn't scary enough, a pillow drops from the stairs, appearing out of thin air, as if something, or someone, threw it. The footage sends a wave of horror to anyone who watches it. Jocelyn, already shaken to her core, makes a decision right then and there. She's never going back. So what do you think? Is this real evidence of the paranormal, or just a perfectly executed hoax? Number 3. Imagine living in a home where, for a decade, there's been a faint shadow of something otherworldly. Not enough to truly disrupt your life, but just enough to make you wonder if maybe, just maybe, you're not alone. For one TikTok user, known as Dude My House is Haunted, this eerie presence had always been easy to ignore, until recently, when things took a dark and disturbing turn. It started subtly, with small objects moving or disappearing, Thinking it was the spirit of his late wife, he tried to ignore it, even finding comfort in the idea. But as the strange happenings grew more intense, he decided to set up cameras around the house, hoping to capture proof of what he thought was her spirit. One morning, he walked into the kitchen to make his coffee, only to find cabinets thrown open and a chair pulled out from the table, as if someone or something had been sitting there, and the footage confirmed it. The chair moved on its own, slowly twisting and turning, almost as if it had a mind of its own. But then, things took a terrifying turn. A dark, mist-like figure materialized in the kitchen, and without warning, violently hurled the chair across the room. This was no gentle spirit. Our TikTok user felt a chill run down his spine. This couldn't be his wife. Whatever this was, it was something else entirely. Something darker. But the terror didn't end there. A few nights later, he was standing in the hallway when he heard a strange sound coming from the attic. A low, whispering voice, almost like it was calling out to him. He moved toward the sound, only to feel a cold, ghostly hand press against his back, rooting him in place. He was paralyzed, unable to move or scream, as he heard whispers growing louder and louder, like the agonized voices of tormented souls, trapped and suffering. In a final, chilling encounter, he decided to investigate the attic, where the noises seemed to be coming from. As he reached for the door, it suddenly slammed shut with such force that he staggered back, his heart pounding. He knew, then and there, that whatever lurked up there was nothing human. At that moment, he realized his home was more than haunted. It was inhabited by something sinister, something that fed on fear and thrived in the shadows. He's now convinced that these lost souls were forced to remain in that attic, bound to it for eternity. But what could be powerful enough to trap such tormented spirits? Could it be the same force haunting him now? Number 2. There's this family man on social media named Jerry Bruce. Most of his videos radiate warmth and family-friendly fun, a glimpse into the life of a man who adores spending time with his children. But scroll a little further, and you'll find 2 videos that shatter that wholesome image. 2 clips that seem like they've been ripped straight from the script of a horror movie. These videos are unlike anything else on his channel. They capture moments that feel disturbingly unnatural, as if his family has become the unwitting stars of a real-life ghost story. On the night of May 26, 2009, everything changed for him. Out of a dead sleep, Jerry was jolted awake by a strange noise echoing from the living room. Heart started racing, and he instinctively reached for his phone to record whatever was happening. Later, he shared a chilling message. "I've never seen anything like this. My wife and I were woken up by the sound of a door closing. This video is all I got before we grabbed the kids and left the house." This is what the footage revealed. In the dim light of his living room, you see the door handle begin to turn. It moves as though an unseen hand is gripping it. But when the door creaks open, there's nothing, just empty space. The air is still, yet there's an unmistakable feeling that something is there. Some might brush it off as a draft, a simple breeze. But another video raises even darker questions. Fast forward to July 11, 2009. Jerry was casually recording his son, capturing another sweet family moment, until the closet door from the previous video started to creep open, just like before. But this time, the stakes were even higher. Moments after the door opened, a toy on the floor flipped over as if something unseen had tripped on it while creeping toward the child. Jerry didn't wait to find out what was coming next. He scooped up his son and bolted from the room. Understandably, Jerry has been haunted by these experiences ever since, and his viewers are just as shaken. Some believe Jerry's family is being tormented by a genuine paranormal entity, while others insist there has to be a logical explanation. But in the world of the paranormal, concrete answers are elusive, so this mystery is yours to solve. Number 1. 3 medical students were working the night shift in the hospital when boredom set in, so to pass the time, they decided to explore an abandoned section of the hospital called the Haunted ER. This area has been shut down for years, but over its operational lifetime, it witnessed numerous tragic deaths, including that of a young child. Rumor has it, the spirits of former patients still roam its empty halls. Just out of curiosity, the trio made their way down the dim corridors until they reached the eerily quiet ER. They exchanged nervous banter, joking to lighten the mood, but as they moved deeper, the reality of the spooky atmosphere started to sink in. The place was utterly silent, save for the echo of their footsteps. At one point, They noticed an unsettlingly realistic training mannequin positioned in the hallway, which almost felt like it was watching them. Tensions began to mount when, suddenly, one of them spotted a light flickering in a nearby room. Cautiously, they approached, feeling an uneasy sense of dread. When they finally mustered the courage to open the door, they were greeted by nothing. Just an empty room with that mysterious flickering light. But then, as they stood there, something truly terrifying happened. A curtain shifted on its own, as if an invisible hand had brushed past it, followed by a cane falling to the floor with a loud clatter. Their nerves shattered. The 3 students bolted from the ER, leaving behind any thoughts of investigation. Whether it was a spirit from the past or just their imagination, they had to save their lives, so they ran away as fast as they could. Do you think these haunted encounters were real, or just tricks of the mind? Share your thoughts in the comments.